Hello, everybody. I said I'd be back tonight. I realize it's a little late. Most people don't go live at almost 10 o'clock their time, but you know what? It's all right. If you're not with me right now, that's okay because I'll be recorded live, ready for you on Sunday morning or whenever you're ready. So hello again, everybody. It's Lisa Harden from the Stamping Zoo in beautiful Boise, Idaho. And I just thought I wanted to stamp with you tonight and talk a little bit about one of my online card classes this month, and that is the No Stamp Camp. So normally every at least once a month on a couple of days, my monthly face-to-face classes are called Stamp Camp. But as you know, we're not doing a lot of face-to-face right now, so I certainly didn't want to stop making cards with my stampers. So I have turned it into a no stamp camp. And what that means is you receive 5 card kits that require no stamping from me. So 5 different designs, all current Stampin' Up! Product, of course, but no stamping. So we have lots of creative ways that we can do that. And hi ladies, jumping on. So I just, I wanted to definitely mention that. It's open to anyone and it's free. So you can either choose to pay for it outright, which it's $20, or it's free with a minimum purchase of just $25. So of course I encourage you to just purchase $25 of product from me. And then see what you think about the card kits. I always try to do my very best to make them worth more than whatever price you pay for them. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, please just private message me. If you are in my email, if you're one of my email subscribers, you will get an email about that tomorrow. And there's a PayPal button. I try to make it super easy. So kind of along those same lines, we are going to do a little bit of stamping tonight, but by no means is it going to be the main part of this card. This card I am taking largely from the new annual catalog. So here's one reason why you want to have a demonstrator, unless you're a demonstrator yourself. You want to have a demonstrator because we can help you with all sorts of cool things. And one really cool thing a demonstrator can do is if you're home just looking at your catalog and you see a card that you must, and I repeat, must make, and it is in it's in one of the catalogs. A demonstrator has access to the supply list and a high-level tutorial for most products or most projects that are in the annual catalog. So tonight is just that case. I saw one card that I just really loved. It's very happy. I love the color combos, and I could have worked it out myself, but I'm so glad that I have a sample supply list that I can just rely on to go and quickly gather the supplies. So I know the various colors they used, and if you watched me earlier, you know that I just went through a big purge last night, or really not a purge, but an organization of my scraps. So all I did was I gathered some scraps. I made sure that they were 4 inches long. They don't have to be a certain width because we're just going to use some pieces and parts, but we want them to be about 4 inches long. And I'll show you why. Now this is going to be very similar to Bruno's scrappy strip technique, but this is going to be just vertical lines, and they're going to be straight up and down. Okay, but they are going to be varied in their dimensions. So I'm going to use Baby Trimmer. Hello, Baby Trimmer. Baby Trimmer, I'm going to use Baby Trimmer to make a series of different strips. And I'm going to use, I'm going to use a couple, let's see here. I want a couple different widths to choose from. That's what I think will be really the best. Whoops, now see, I may need to get the regular trimmer out. These are so small. They're kind of sliding in my trimmer, in my baby trimmer, but that's okay. I can get Big Daddy trimmer out. Well, this is actually kind of medium-sized trimmer. You know, I have 3 trimmers. I have mom, dad, and baby. So I'll use the middle. So how's everybody doing tonight? Of course, pop on and let me know where you're from and how you're doing. How are you faring in this, oh gosh, what week is it? 6, 7, 8 of our new life of COVID. Hopefully people are starting to transition somewhat out of it, right? We all want to make sure that we can eventually get out and about. My state of Idaho is doing some of that as well. Being pretty conservative, I'd say. Kind of not doing anything much different from lots of other places in the world. Trying to just take it easy a little bit. Now again, there's no rhyme or reason to the widths of these strips, but they're all 4 inches long. And that's because it's going to make it really easy towards the end of this project when I want to trim them all. I'm not going to have to worry about a bunch of different lengths. Okay, so I'm just kind of feeding them through the trimmer. I'm not sure if you can see the whole trimmer on my screen, but trust me, I'm just feeding them through the trimmer. So this is Balmy Blue. I can tell that one's a little crooked. This one's Balmy Blue. Beautiful. And I'm kind of giving myself a choice of like a thick and a thin. I may end up using both. I don't know. The base of this paper piecing technique is going to be 3 by 4.5. So we need to cover some real estate, but it's not like the whole card front. Okay, now I've got some Calypso Coral. And again, this is a quote-unquote recipe from the annual catalog. New annual catalog. This card is actually on page 125 if you have a copy of the catalog in front of you. This is one of the cards I'm doing. The card that I'm doing has the word hello on the front in the new alphabet die cut, which is going to be fantastic to play with. But I don't have that yet. That was not in the pre-order options, and that's okay. So that was Pool Party. Now we have some So Saffron, and we'll just get a few strips of this. So my card won't look exactly. This is not an exact case, right? This is just mostly inspired by. But I'm going to try and use the same colors that they used, for sure. Now, I probably need a few larger pieces as I'm looking at this whole thing. It is 4.5 inches long after all. And so I want to have a few larger options. So I cannot see your comments right now because I'm looking at the instructions. But rest assured, I will pop back over there and chat with you. So if you have any questions, make sure you just post them in there, and I'll find them, and definitely I'll get back to you. But let's see here. So I've had a pretty good day, actually. And then I think about, well, tell them what I've done. I can't really tell you what I've done. It wasn't that like earth-shattering. I chatted with some girlfriends this morning on Zoom. Took my lovely children for a walk, you know, and washed them also. Took a nap, which was just flat out delicious. And just kind of enjoyed the day. I went out after I did that live just, I don't know, a few hours ago. And then I went outside and just sat outside. It was so nice. And read my PDF version of the catalog. Starting to get familiar with all the different names and seeing what carried over and what stayed the same and what is new. It's a great combination, a great mix of what's new and what stayed the same. I think it's really going to be nice. We're going to have a little extra time with several of the products, and so that's always fun to kind of reinvent them, because they won't have the same DSP, they won't have the same, you know, a lot of different things like that. But they're the same base products. So I always think that's really fun. And these products are, as you know, quality products. You can use them for years. So even when they retire, it doesn't mean they're all of a sudden not useful. I'm getting out the silicone mat, which is just so helpful for what we're going to do. We're going to cover this thing with snail. Okay. Now the snail is retiring. We'll still have the same type of adhesive that is it looks very similar to this, but this actual snail is going away. So for this technique, I guess this is fine. What you're going to do is cover the whole of this in the snail. Now we're not using the mono because that would dry too quickly, wouldn't it? It'd make it a little messy to have to work on this. And let me get the edges here. And so this is like a full sheet of adhesive cardstock. Kind of funny. Now, if you have any off to the side and you don't want to get your paper in it, you just roll it off with your finger. It just rolls right off of the silicone sheet, okay? So now what we do is the fun part. We're just going to piece this together. We're just going to have some fun placing these pieces. There's no right or wrong. Now, here's the difference between this and Scrappy Strip, right? Bruno's Scrappy Strip is you're going to lay them straight up and down, and there's not going to be any gaps. At least, like I said, according to this little picture in the catalog, they don't have any gaps. They've just laid them right next to each other. And you don't need to worry about burnishing them so much right now. All you need to worry about is kind of getting them in place. And then we'll worry about that later. We can take care of that all at the very end. You just want to make sure they stick a little bit at least. Now I'm just trying to vary the widths. Of course I'm varying the colors, but I'm trying to vary the width. So I want like a skinny one next to a fatter one and so on. And this is really it, right? I wish it was like more difficult and I had to show you how much skill I have. But this is like a really nice late night thing to be doing, quite frankly, is just to kind of pull these pieces and see. Now I want a skinnier one. That one was too close to the width of the Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to put a little purple posy in there. And I'd better get some Silk Saffron going. I haven't put any of that in yet. Maybe we'll do a really fat strip of that. That's real pretty. And then if there's only one, well, that's fine. And let's see here. I've already used that just really close. Why don't I use some Pool Party? I've got to get some Pool Party in the mix. And so anyway, this is really fun. And it's definitely a way to use up your scraps, right? You saw I didn't use very much. This is only like a couple inches of paper total. So the possibilities are endless. And you can use not very many scraps to make a lot of cards. And just change it up as you like. This is using a variety of brights and subtles. But you use what you like. Now I might put like a little strip of poppy. So our sentiment is going to be embossed in white on poppy. But, so I want to draw it back to the card a little bit. Now let me get one that's super skinny of Flirty Flamingo. Got a real Slim Jim here. Now he's going to go in. Now maybe, I'm getting close to the end. Maybe I'll just put another petal pink. That sounds nice. So when you're all done with that, it looks kind of crazy, right? But you trim it up by turning it over. And you can do this in the paper trimmer as well. Because it has a little of adhesive on it, I'm going to go ahead and just do it with the scissors. I just want to make sure that I get it just right. So, and then I think it's always super fun when you turn this over. You can't believe, like, oh, yeah, that is a design, actually. That is just like the picture. So, of course, mine, I'm using the same colors as the picture, but I didn't take time to lay them out exactly like the picture. And then this final one, remember, was a little bit thicker than the end of our card. So no worries. Now we have this super cute stripy background. And you can, of course, use it either way. Either layout is right. Nothing wrong about this here. So let's get that put to the side. I don't want all those little strips all over everything. Now this gets pretty easy, right? I'm going to use some white baker's twine. Whoops. I'm going to use some baker's twine. I don't know if this is going to be carrying over. This is kind of thick, and I really like it. There's plenty of baker's twine in the catalog, though, so don't be worried. If you don't see what you like there, just turn the page. You'll find it. So let's just tie this a couple of times around, and well, I guess I'll do a bow. We'll start with a bow. If we don't like it, we'll turn it into a knot. How about that? And I'm not going to make it too complicated. Remember, it is 10 o'clock my time. And I'm not like a late nighter. That I stayed up until midnight last night actually working on that was kind of funny. Now, when you're pulling the little bows, when you're adjusting the bows and you're using baker's twine, did you see how I was holding the knot there? That keeps the loops from twisting around themselves, so that you can adjust them, and then they'll look like loops at the end. Okay, so now we have that part finished, and this is going to go up on dimensionals on the front of this. Now, is that fun? It just says fun. I think they did a great job. I'm going to switch over to see your comments now. Well, hi, everybody. So anyway, this is how this is going to sit up on here with, again, a sentiment that is on Poppy Parade. So just a happy little color combination, right? Little Bob Ross, happy color combination. And again, to this point, I haven't used any stamps. So this could definitely be one of the projects that I might use in the card class. It would be in the no stamp card class. It would be some configuration of this, because of course now we are going to do a little stamping. Just a little bit though. I'm going to use Friend Like You. This is carrying over also. It has a coordinating set of dies. So if you like it, why not buy it now and save 10%? Yeah. And I'm going to use Happy Day, because these colors look like a happy day, and I like the sentiment. Roz, I chose the colors. This is, I'm kind of casing this, taking my inspiration from page 125 in the new catalog. And I was just telling everyone that it's good to be a demonstrator or have a demonstrator, because if you see anything in our catalogs, more likely than not, there is a high-level tutorial associated with it. And so when you're working with a demonstrator, you can just talk to your demonstrator, right? And you can find out exactly what supplies you need for whatever project you've fallen in love with that's in the catalog. So this is a picture, again, page 125. And the card itself says, hello. We are doing our own version until we can get our hands on those little letter die cuts. Now these this alphabet die cut that is in the new catalog. I believe the letters are 3/4 tall, 3/4 inch tall. So it's a lot different than some of our other stamp sets, the alphabet sets. You can put a much larger grouping of words or letters onto the card, but they're not so small that they're hard to read by any stretch. Okay, so what I've done there is I've used the Stampin' Buddy, then I stamped with our Versamark watermark stamp ink, and now I'm just going to take the white embossing powder. This is what's going to most closely replicate what they did in the catalog, which was they cut out white letters. So let me just heat up the gun. The heat gun. Oh, good, Roz. Okay, that's perfect. Well, let's have some embossing magic, right? I'm sorry that you have to hear the sound, but then you won't be able to see it if I don't hold it up here. Ooh, super bright. And that is a happy day sentiment, isn't it? That came out really nice. I love it on, you know, red and white is definitely a snappy combo. So this looks beautiful. All right, now I'm going to use the tailored tag punch. I'm almost positive this is carrying over. I didn't look quickly before I came on here though. I meant to do that. I knew there was something I was going to do, and that was it. So let's see if this will cut it out. Oh yes, it just cuts it out. It's like they were made for each other, right? So this is another method of that I will have been using in my no stamp card classes, which is I'm relying on some of our beautiful punches. Okay, so now this, let's see, we might use 2 layers of dimensionals. Now remember, don't feel bad about using up that snail because it's going to retire. Again, I would watch the, if it makes it to the clearance. There's no guarantee that anything will make it to the clearance, right? But I'd start watching the clearance list, because when this goes on there, if it makes it there, and it goes down in price, it will go really fast. But wouldn't that be a great thing to get at a clearance price? Because it's excellent adhesive. So just be watching the clearance list. You never know when those little gems are going to go on sale. Now, since I do have the stamp set out, and we have a happy day, I kind of like the dragonflies. Why not? Let's do the dragonflies. And there are die cuts for the dragonflies as well, which is really kind of fun, isn't it? They're tiny little die cuts, but they cut them out, and they cut both of them out at the same time. So that's kind of fun. I'm going to go ahead and use Poppy Parade. Oh, brother, my ink pads are fighting. Don't mind me. I was just going to say, my ink pads are fighting me, and yes, they are. It seems as if they're like literally throwing themselves out of the cases. Oh, God. So anyway, like I was saying, yeah, let's try this. Okay, very cute. Roz says she's sure the new adhesives will be even more awesome. I kind of think you're probably going to be right about that. There are 2 new kinds at least that are this kind of configuration, and I just think we're going to like them. So I'm very ready and willing to use the new stuff. In fact, it was on my list, and then of course it wasn't in the pre-order, because there are lots of things in the pre-order, but the company doesn't generally open up the whole catalog. I think that's kind of a heavy ask. They might sometimes do that for a mini catalog, but not the annual. That's a lot of product. Okay, and Sherry just told me, yes, the punch is carrying over. I'm assuming that's what you mean, Sherry. Yay! Well, that's a happy day then for me. Excellent. Okay, little dragonflies inside, right? You can write your sentiment, whatever you want to write. It will be something beautiful, I'm sure. Let's get some dimensionals on the back of this. We're going to double dimensional this thing. It's pretty flat otherwise, so I don't think it's going to matter as far as like the thickness in the envelope. And one thing we also have coming that I'm looking forward to is we have adhesive foam sheets. So what I'm picturing is this just solid, so that you can use it to you can use it with your die cuts, and you can use it to back images that you need more reinforcement. So I think it's going to be fabulous. Hi, Megan. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I guess it's probably the middle of Sunday afternoon for you or something. Huh, might be a good time for me to come on. We haven't made it to Sunday over here yet, but we're working on it. We're only a few hours away. Okay, I need that handy ruler, don't I? Because for one thing, it's 10 o'clock. And for another thing, this is a really wide border. So this is only 3.5 tall. So I'm just going to take this here and run it. I need to go up another 1/4, it seems like. I'm lightly putting that on there because I need to just take a look-see here. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to do the same thing with my happy day. I'm going to put the happy day up on dimensionals. You don't have to. I think you can glue it just fine. I would use tear and tape if I was going to put it down flat over, over that baker's twine. But that's easy enough too. Okay. We'll still have the great Stampin' Dimensionals, of course. Can't get rid of those. But we have lots of good adhesive options. And frankly, it's always where I think Stampin' Up! Shows how superior it is to other companies, is if you go buy other adhesives, lots of times your little embellishments will pop off of your card, or things don't really stick very well, and that's why. Because Stampin' Up! Rocks this show. Okay, so now I've just kind of got that where I want it. I'm going to push this right up to the edge. Oh, and this is kind of fun. You can line the points up with one of the color changes. Okay, so I just found the one that was closest, lined it up, and then what I liked was, since this is so colorful, I want to use the clear, either frosted or shiny, I don't know yet, but the drops, because then they don't take away the colors, you know. Oh my gosh, Brene, you have to have a ruler. You must. And the most important thing is that you need to have these horizontal lines. So this is a Tim Holtz Ideology ruler, but there's tons of rulers like this. You need it to be clear, and you need it to have vertical lines and horizontal lines, obviously. That's the key. And then when you're doing really tricky stuff, you can line this up on the grid paper. Then if you need to measure it certain, you know, width, then you just take your ruler up the side, line it up on the grid paper, and you're golden. You're golden. Okay, I think I'm going to use the extra shiny ones because they're just so pretty. Like little mirrors, aren't they? I absolutely love the frosteds too. And don't forget, where do I want this? How about there? Please don't forget, you can color these with your Stampin' Blends. So as you can see, I was off on some other project, and so a lot of these have already been colored. I usually color them with the dark version of the blend, whatever that may be, but just give it a try. I think you can take the color off too with acetone, but of course you might end up taking a finish off. So just, try it calmly. Try it with 1. Don't try it on like 10 and then decide you don't like that. And oh my goodness, here's our card. Happy day. And I don't want you to forget that I used the tailored tag punch, and I used Friend Like You, and with very little stamping we made a perfectly happy little card. And along those lines, just a final reminder, please don't forget that I'm offering the No Stamp Camp card kits this month for $20 for 5 cards, or free with a minimum purchase of $25. This is how I pay my business so that I can afford to order all of these fun things and bring you tutorials. So please, if you're thinking of ordering, I would love to earn your business, and you help me bring you these free tutorials. Okay? So anyway, have a lovely night. And I know tomorrow's Mother's Day, or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're experiencing Mother's Day right now. So I want all of you mothers to just enjoy the heck out of it. I hope you're all treated like the queens that you are. Okay? All right. Talk to you later.